Yo, late night. What's good? We
We here,
promise
baby.
and we deliver. Second show of the day. We thank Coach Carl Reed for joining us early today.
The man. Oh man, I can't believe I missed Carl Reed, man. He been going in on the
Yo,
recruiting lately.
he told me to tell you that he's hearing nothing but great things about you. Because you both work for CBS Sports.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
he was like,
Dang.
dude, they love him over there, dude. He was like, man, I'm super proud of Malik. So
Hey, that's real awesome, man. That's good to hear, man. You know, Carl Reed always got that inside knowledge, so you know he knows something.
hey, bro, I know you're happy to be away from Ypsilanti, though. Yo, that game, when I saw it go into overtime, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
That's why I think I've grown to like the MAC more. Because on a Tuesday night, nobody in the stadium. Cold as all get out. Them boys in there playing hard. It was like one time it was a series of three. It was like three plays in a row. Three
Mhm.
Akron defenders went out on friendly fire. Just nasty hits on each other. Just from. I'm like, this is Tuesday night. Oh, I wish we had some of that energy on Saturdays.
I felt bad because at some point during the game, man, you guys had to feel, and I was like, this is tough.
Hey,
This is tough.
you
I
know
was like,
about that
this is
feeling.
tough.
Yeah. You try to you reaching for any and everything to talk about. You like, oh my goodness, talk about their
Man,
favorite math subject.
it was almost like I felt your guy, the play-by-play guy, just looking at you like, man, you got anything? You got a story or something? It was tough.
Yeah, Chick Hernandez is great though. He's great to work with. He does a lot of the Washington Commanders work. So I mean, it was just great the whole time.
Man, Lucky Lefty podcast, man. I was like, oh my boy. I know he's flying out of there early tomorrow. I was like, that's gotta be a 6 a.m. flight. Getting out of Ipsy, dude.
Absolutely.
And the entire MAC was playing last night. Northern Illinois. I'm like, dude, what? Like the
Well,
MAC is.
they all went to Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So when they went to Tuesday, Wednesday, it just it made football literally every day of the week. You
Yeah.
know, you wanted to check it out, you can check it out every day of the week. So, calling the MAC is cool because you really see some players shine.
It's so funny, bro, because I was just literally like hours back. Edrin James has a podcast that he just
What's it
launched.
called?
It is called Create the Life podcast. Create the Life. And his first guest was Warren Sapp. This cat Warren Sapp, dude, he was talking about Mario Cristobal and the U like they were just straight trash, bro.
Well, isn't he
And
trying to get back into coaching?
I don't know. But I was like, yo, I'm like, Sapp, like you're not helping things out, bro. Like you're not helping things out. Like, relax. And Ed just like, man, be cool. And he's like, man, look, I've been to the practices. These dudes don't put in no work. But he said something that's very interesting. He said, man, the worst thing about NIL is that it diminishes the hunger for a lot of cats. He was like, man, can you imagine making six figures and being in Coral Gables, Florida? He was like, man, come on, man. He's like, ain't no way you got the same hunger the teams in the past after you. He told a story too that was very interesting. I never knew he was a tight end his first year at Miami. 250-pound tight end. And coaches came in him 7 games into the season and said, hey, bro, we need to switch you over to defensive line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yo, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. He said he
It
left.
is
He
pretty crazy.
graduated from high school and was 225. Got to Miami, put on 30 pounds.
And that's interesting how you put on that much weight uh, in Miami.
Yeah,
You know, you would think you would be
they
losing 30
sweating it
pounds.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
He
I was
said,
down
wait,
there.
wait. He said, dude. He said I cried. He said because the first game they went on the road to play Arkansas, dude, and he was like, I watched the bus pull off, and he was like, man, I ain't never been left behind because you didn't make the road roster, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was
He
like,
don't
man,
know how it works.
he's like, man, I was in tears. Like, what is going on? Like, what am I supposed to do this weekend?
And that's an underrated story to tell is what the red shirt freshmen do while they can't travel. And you
Mhm.
hear all type of crazy stories because you really feel like you a student for real. Like nobody's there. So you got to get creative on what you do with your boys that stay back with you. But you grow closer together, which is always an interesting thing.
Yo, it's always the Nor Boys CFP Nation presented by
So,
Twisted Tea.
yeah.
There's that harmony, boy. I
Yeah.
told Coach Reed, I'm like, I'm by myself, so we don't have that
Yeah,
harmony.
it sounds better when we put it together for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go to MalikZaire.com also for that Anora whiskey and for all your travel needs. If you need to book a flight or a hotel, vacation package, MalikZaire.com. Left,
Do it the best.
I got this show is all about you, bro.
Here we go.
I got something for you. First of all, I'm going to start off with before we get to the videos, I want to go to Jared Parker, offensive coordinator.
I
He
wonder
was
what he's got
asked,
to say.
he was, before they come down and the TV crews record the interviews, they sit with the beat reporters upstairs. So he was with the beat reporters and he was asked about the lack of play action passes against Clemson.
Yes, a very valid question.
Okay. I want to give you the exact quote. I don't want to misquote him because I could give you, you know,
You gotta, whenever you say that, you know it's real serious.
I could give you,
It's probably so so off that you don't want to put the wrong words in his mouth.
no, it's really not off. It's just,
Off-putting.
uh, yeah, I can't find the quote, man. So let me just go ahead and paraphrase it. His answer was Clemson was mainly a man-to-man team, and man-to-man, our discipline is really doesn't benefit you to play action when teams are man-to-man.
Interesting. Interesting. I've never heard that before. Just like just like I never heard a head coach talk about field position the way that Marcus Freeman does. And in theory, I get it. But at the same time, I don't get it because what play action does also is give you a clear picture for your one-on-ones outside, even if it was man. The play action gets the safeties involved. So yeah, man to man with no help over top, I like my chances.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but you're giving yourself a pseudo protection, pseudo 7-6 man protection, so you can push the ball down the field. Because that's what play action is about. So the question should have been, why didn't you try to push the ball down the field more? Because that's what play action would give you. We only did the first half of it, and that was play, and played around too much. At one point, just like Ohio State, them safeties was low.
Mm-hmm.
So the play action would have worked perfectly to be able to hit Tobias, who was running by the man-to-man on occasions after occasions, to get the look that he wanted. I think a lot about Oklahoma when Chris Brown got that big play action post. And that changed the game. What was that, 2012? But play action is perfect because it gives Sam a chance to get his eyes down the field as well.
Yeah.
It's not a progression where he's got to be like, oh, let me load a high or short the deep or a curl or something. No. He's looking to push it as far as he can down the field because he knows, because of the way we've ran the football, them safeties are not in the picture. So you got a guy that's running full speed, one-on-one down the field. That's the matchup, and that's why we brought Sam to begin with. What do you think North Carolina State was doing so much? You telling me their defense was better? We was play action left and right, and we had 45 points. Isn't that crazy? I'm talking about the play actions was getting so silly at one point. We was just catching stuff like, oh yeah, this pitch and catch. Nobody's even around the tight ends. Walking in the end zone. Hell, Eastern Michigan did a play action to win the game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you're on the goal line, so yeah, that's man too. But guess what? When you run so much, you get fooled. And an eye discipline gets real lazy. So if anything, Jared Parker, you're giving them way too much credit. Deception is part of play action. So yeah, it's man. But when you running it, them corners gonna start peeking inside for run support. And then boop. So I don't know if you just thought they were the greatest corners or man players in the world, where you just didn't even take a chance because you just knew they were just 100% looking at, you know what I mean? Like, you give them too much credit. Especially when you didn't attempt it. So to explain why, from a basic defensive explanation, oh yeah, they man eyes, so it doesn't help. That's not good enough. Because one, you the offensive coordinator. You study all week knowing they play man.
Mm-hmm.
Play action is part of the game. Play action is part of the offense. It should be. For as heavy set run, all the 12 personnel we be putting out there. It's just the complement to it, because you're not going to run a bunch of pass progressions out of 12-man personnel. I don't want my two tight ends running a bunch of routes. But when you put that play action in, now they get that one-on-one down the field. I mean, that's all I would set it up for, just like baseball. Baseball is, they fixed that rule too. You can't shield the one side or whatever. But guys are going for home runs and outs. That's it. That's how offense should be. It's not anymore just straight hitters, because that's not sexy. And for our offense to be sexy, we do the ugly people work, but we're not doing the other side of lighting it up down the field. We're not shooting for home runs. So if we were a baseball team, we're getting a bunch of first and second base. The outfielders are saying, come in. Because they ain't hitting it 450. We're not even looking for 450. We trying to hit the sides, hit the crowd.
We're trying to lay down bunts.
On the right side, you know what I mean? We trying to just take the easy way out. But it just speaks to also the inexperience from a Jared Parker, because I don't think any offensive coordinator would point out that they was running something that we just wouldn't do anything against. Wouldn't do anything against. We just took automatic, oh yeah, they playing man, let's just erase it off the board. That doesn't instill a lot of confidence to Tobias, which probably he stopped looking once he found out. He probably realized, oh, they're playing man, oh, Sam's not gonna throw it. And I would assume that, because Jared Parker just told you, oh yeah, when they playing man, we running the ball. It doesn't benefit us to throw it deep. So Tobias must have heard that at halftime, was like, oh yeah, let me unstrap my pads a little bit, man. Let me get comfortable. It all makes sense. And then you got Marcus Freeman talk about field position. I can only imagine what that halftime speech was about now. What was the halftime speech about Marcus Freeman? Field position? I hope he wasn't preaching no field position in that halftime speech. And I hope Jared Parker wasn't making adjustments saying, all right, we're going to scratch out any play action going into the second half because they playing man. And Sam not being a dude probably didn't say nothing in the adjustments. He's probably like, all right, let's go out there and go do it. So it explains a lot, but it's not what I'm trying to hear or want to hear from a coordinator that I feel like he started hot, just like a lot of players start hot through the season and they get progressively worse as the season goes on because they not having attention to detail week to week. It's hard. I mean, hell, we in week 10. I know dudes is kind of getting to the end of being tapped out for the year. You got to be on practice like, what, 50, 60 right now? Probably more than that. So, guys, it's taxed, but this is where greatness comes in. The only quote I ever loved from Brian Kelly was that pretenders are in October and contenders are in November. And you got to get greater as the season gets later. And for us on the offensive side, we have seemed to run out of ideas. That's what it honestly seems like.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. It's time to change the tenor. As I present to Malik what I told him I was going to present. And this is SHAUN Sevillo Jr., 330-pound defensive tackle commit, 2024. Yeah, I'll just play the clip.
Yeah, it's that 330.
So you are enrolling early though, right? You are a January enrollee. What is your goals, man, as far as maybe that first couple months there, the spring ball? What do you want to get across to the Notre Dame coaches and all the spectators as far as like what you can bring to the team?
Mm-hmm. So I've said this before on different interviews or articles that I've been a part of. I'm the biggest go-getter out there, and I'm going to make a statement. Just making it and being on campus isn't enough for me. My goal by the end of my time as a football player is to be the best to ever play the game. So I'm here to come take somebody's spot. I'm here to come start as soon as I can.
That's it. And he just said, and I'm going to stay 330, maybe get a little bit bigger. I ain't going to get below that 300 mark. That did not. I would have been like, yeah, sign, seal, deliver. Sign, seal, deliver. And to have the confidence of a player like, because, I don't know if it's Notre Dame recruits specifically to this or kids in general are just way too humble. Nobody want to hear that. Oh, I just want to go to the team and be a team player. Like, yeah, that's all good and well. But when you get your opportunity to talk your ish, talk your ish. Because the ones that talk it usually believe it. The ones that got to hit you with the humble pie, I'm just trying to get better each day, not good enough. Because we got a bunch of guys like that. Probably all the guys in the receiver room are like that. Oh, I'm just trying to work hard. And as soon as he said, I'm trying to take somebody's spot first day, that should put everybody on notice. That, hey, even it's just the word of mouth. We'll see if when he gets there. But anybody talking like that before he gets there and he don't even know what he's getting into knows that he got something that they ain't got in that room. I'll tell you that. We don't got nobody talking like that. Now, I'm sure he get adjusted and all of that, but going in, first couple practices, I'm sure he'll make some headway, make some people be like, oh, we got us one. So I just, man, thank goodness. And the measurables are where they supposed to be. It's a good find.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Doesn't hurt that 330 film breakdown that Malik gave and loved the push, how he pushes the pocket. Haven't seen that in a while. Not
the straight arm, one arm, just push you back. Yeah, I ain't seen that. I swim moves and stunts and none of that. I want that just straight bull rush. Give me just one arm, push the pocket.
Yeah, you
Pocket
know,
pushers.
left Notre Dame players are all about 40 for 40, man. Right? Sean Sevillo.
Honestly, I could say so many different places that it comes from, but I think the big thing is my love for this game is probably the biggest thing. There's nothing I want to do other than play football in my life. I've never thought about working a 9-to-5 job. I've never thought about being a teacher or being a fireman or whatever it might be. There's nothing I've ever wanted to do but play football. And then also part of that is probably the mentality my parents instilled in me since I was a kid. It's like if somebody's in your way and trying to stop you from their goal, you better punch them in the face and get by them. That's all it is to it. And to me, it's become this game is kill or be killed. So
yes,
they call me a killer, I guess.
Call me a killer, I guess. He talking spicy. He saying all the right things. So we'll see. But hey, it is refreshing to hear that. I hope he understands, though, that your ass still got to go to class. Hey, and nobody's going to save you from it. Only way you get saved from that, man, you're going to have to be, shoot. That sack record going to have to get broken.
You have to be that dude.
I mean, you're going to have to be the dude. It's like, yeah, you're going to be, you can be good. Your ass still got to go to class. You got to be that dude. Yeah. Like,
hey, did somebody ever come get you, dude, because you missed the class?
Man, listen, you just don't even, that's not even like, that's not even like something you play around with, to be honest with you. And the ones that didn't go or somehow got out of it, you knew who it was and you didn't say nothing, man. What you?
Hey, man, let me tell you something. These Big Ten schools.
Man, I heard. I was over there by Michigan. They was like, man, them kids.
Man, bro.
School too big, bro.
Let me tell you something, bro.
Too big to chase them kids.
Players at U of I.
Players at U of M.
Yeah.
Man, what? They not leaving the luxury apartment. I just put it like that. You could ask half the players on the team, have they even been around campus outside their recruiting trip? Most of them will say no. So I hope you don't think it's like that, because it's going to be tough sledding, because Marcus Freeman, he can't save you. You know, sometimes, you know, you think your coach, your boy, he going to look out. Mm-hmm. But on this, Marcus Freeman can't save you, dog.
He ain't got nothing to say, huh? Nothing to say. Look at the podcast. Let's see. That cat, Coach Freeman, can't save you, dog.
No, hey, you're going to be like, Coach, what's up? Like, he going to be like, bro, you better go. Because if he get that phone call, he can't. What he gonna do?
Yo. Oh, man.
But if we can help him get it through, it's gonna be all good.
Coach Freeman, yo, what took place during the bye?
Fourth quarterback on scholarship. Who that is still to be determined. How we get to that fourth scholarship quarterback is still to be determined. We'll look in the portal. We'll look in when the portal opens. We'll look at different ways to fill that fourth quarterback scholarship. But yeah, we do want to be in a position to have 4 quarterbacks on scholarship. Another question about bye week, right? Is I think each phase of our team focused on different things. Offensively, I've challenged them the ability we have to find ways to get the ball into the hands of our playmakers, right? And we got to continue to be creative in how we do that. We also in the pass game have to be able to take some of the easy throws that defenses give us and not always look for that home run, or the contested ball. Let's take what defenses are giving us. And the ability to, I thought we established the run game really well early in the game, but they made some adjustments, and we got to be able to really block different stunts, different pressures and movements by the defense, and still have success, like sustain our blocks longer. And we got to be able to do that offensively. And they know it. We can't be status quo. We gotta have a better performance on Saturday, and we know that. And they all want that. And it's one thing to want something; it's another to do it. And so we have to put the work in to get the performance we want defensively. A continuous emphasis on tackling. We got to continue to tackle at a high level. We play a lot of man coverage, and I told him, like, the leverage in man coverage is details that we have to continuously work at. But as you look at Wake Forest, they present a different challenge for us. So defensively, they spent a lot of time this past week of really doing scout work against some of the unique things you'll see versus a Wake Forest offense. And then special teams, the emphasis this week was on our punt game, and that we have to, it starts with the punt and the hang time. We got to improve that, and then we got to improve our coverage. We got to be better in our coverage lanes of punt coverage, and obviously, punt return decision making and the fundamentals of that. And as I told Tyree, I have the utmost confidence in him. But there was something that happened on that punt that was the cause of the result of muffing it. And we got to make sure that we attack that in practice so that it doesn't happen in the future.
Is this week 1 or week 10? Is this week 1 or week 10? Because Marcus Freeman, we've been saying since before week 1 that coming out of camp, you need to have your go-to guys. Have we not been saying that? Have we not been saying that this whole committee thing is great and all, playing 5, 10 running backs at a time is cool? But when it comes down to it, you're going to have to find that one dude. And we in week 10 talking about we need to find ways to get it to the playmakers. Huh? Then he said we need to take what the defense gives us, not look for the home run shot. I wish we would look for the home run shot.
Wait. I took that as a shot at 10. That's what I took.
Yeah.
He was like, take what the defense gives us and stop throwing the 50 balls. He was taking a shot at 10 in his decision making. Like, look, man, it's open people. There are people open.
People open. He said when people downfield open, you got to throw it.
Yes. And we said that left. I sent you 3 steal shots. Did I not? After the Ohio State game of wide open receivers in videos. Like, dude is wide open. Like, what is Sam looking at? It's been like that. Like, everybody's talking about offensive line, wide receivers. Dudes have been open. My man is just making bad decisions. I don't know what it is.
I think it's because Sam is not that dude, man. And I think, when you think about his footwork, I've talked about it before. The sense of urgency in his footwork don't allow him to even get downfield without being able to be late. And he doesn't have a strong arm. So if anything, what Tommy was good at was anticipating throws. Meaning that if he knew he couldn't get it 50 yards, he's going to let it go as soon as he can. Sam's just walking back in the backfield. No chance when you don't have a strong arm to be on time to hit a guy like Tobias who's 30, 40 yards down the field and you're at the top of your drop. If you do the trajectory and geometry and math and all of that, that's a 60-yard throw that you laid on. So, 10 is very responsible for the lack of what we know we've been waiting for all year. And it's only more apparent because we brought him in to do the same thing that we couldn't do with the last year's 10. I mean, it's like we got the same guy, just a different haircut. And a beard. One had a beard, one had a naked face. But they play the same.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. And we come back. Hey, man, more from Marcus Freeman. He actually talks about taking those shots left. And LAVAR Arrington. What are you talking about, my man? We out here copping, please?
Please, man.
For James Franklin? We'll get to
I
it.
wonder what James Franklin got up his sleeve over at Penn State, because they support this guy, and he just continues to disappoint.
Oh boy. Late night Lucky Lefty podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Lucky Lefty podcast, CFB Nation, presented by Twisted Tea. ONORA boys in the building, SD2 mics. The original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, and also MalikZaire.com. Yeah. Be with you for about 30 more minutes. And, we left off talking about Marcus Freeman and taking shots and taking what the defense gives you. And, this is what Coach Freeman had to say, Left.
Be aggressive. We want to push the ball downfield at times, but what we can't have is 3 and outs. And we can't have a lack of execution and success. And so if we're able to push the ball downfield and complete or not complete it, but then continuous to establish drives and move the ball, then I'm okay with it. But when we're not moving the ball or truly changing the field position or getting the points on the board that we need, then it's my job to come in and say, okay, what do we have to do to be efficient on offense, right? What do we have to do to make sure that we are moving the ball at a consistent basis on the offensive side of the ball?
Marcus Freeman. The way to get better on 3 and outs is to be good on first down. To be good on first down, we can't be so predictable. I know right now, watching first down, and I haven't even seen the game this week, that we're going to run the football. It's no secret. And because of that, you put yourself in a position where you're not staying aggressive. Aggressive is throwing the ball on first down. Aggressive is being creative enough to have the defense on their toes because you're game planning for explosive plays. When you're just running standard basic offense, run right, run left, and then pass, of course that's spelling out for 3 and out because, one, we don't have the talent to do basic stuff and make it look really good. That was 2015. 2015, we tell you what we was doing, and you couldn't stop it. We don't have that offense right now. So you're going to have to get in that bag. I mean, you watch college football today, you're going to see all type of fun offenses, creative plays, different ways to scheme and attack, pushing the ball downfield. It's offenses are just too skilled to not be explosive for a high-level football team. Now, if this was a Virginia, even Virginia got down-the-field plays for a long time. So, for us, I don't know if it's a perception that we're trying to carry as an offense where we're trying to be so physically tough and that's what we're known for, and we're just going to, we're running it and we're going to, like Alabama strategy in 2010, 2012. Everybody know they run that football. Just point blank period. But they were some monsters of the midway too. Perfect example of probably the peak of physicality for running offenses was that Alabama-Georgia final. I'm talking about the defensive trenches popping pads and running backs were running super hard. That was Brian Robinson and Evander Holyfield's son. And, I mean, they had some dudes. Swift was in there. That's when running was, But what did both of those teams also have? A passing game. They had a passing game. So even the best teams' run game complements their pass game. It's just what it is. even if you're a quote unquote physical running team, it complements the pass game.
You know what's crazy? You talk about the pass game, and you're spot on, Left. Marcus Freeman sounds like he's, if they take a shot and they miss on the shot, like everything is just wrecked. And that's crazy. And you can't view shots in a game as an opportunity. Like you have to view shots, number one, is that when you take it, you're impacting the defense because you're putting something on their mind. That's number one. Number two, if you hit, it's a big play.
And it
Like,
changes the defense. If
yes,
you're
you
getting
can't
hit over the
say,
top of the head when they are believing you're selling the run,
yeah,
that's how you keep defense on their toes. Because
yeah,
that same play, you could hand the ball off.
yeah.
That's how you get people not flying downhill, not
Yeah, but
sitting at 85.
handing the ball off to Aldridge, getting the tackle for loss because you're predictable is just as bad as
It's not
missing a
acceptable. Yeah.
shot.
It's just not acceptable. Because it's just at this point to be so high powered running the ball, people know running the ball. There's no reason for a TFL because at the end of the day, defenses should always be threatened by the fact that we can hit you over the head at any point.
Hmm.
And defenses are not threatened by that.
No.
So when they say pinning their ears back, you can do it for the run too. And it's funny because every time I see us in a heavy formation, I'm like, is this the play where we gonna trick them? Is this the play where I feel like I hope I don't know the call? But every time, I mean, we done ran it would have been nice to do a play action off of that triple guard tackle tight end pool. We ran 15, 16 times in the game. And yeah, it was a good run call, but it needs to be complemented with a play action to be able to get points on the board because that's what it's about.
Hmm.
You're not running good plays to say, oh, we got some positive yards. You're running good plays to get to the end zone. Who cares if you done found the perfect run against how they're playing you on defense? Who cares? Because it goes for 7. It ain't 7 on the scoreboard. It's just a first down. So you should be thinking, how do I get 27, 30, a 50-yarder? Because you know at this point in the season, 10 weeks in, we can get 5 or 6 yards running the football. No matter what we run. Left, right, pull, pin, toss, draw. We can get 5 to 6. So I think we've proven that to the country that we are a running football team, Jared Parker. Now we got to prove that we're a winning football team, Jared Parker, by adding things that teams cannot defend. What they say, if you guarding a guy like Wemby, if you start letting him shoot threes and he's dunking on you outside the restricted zone, there's nothing you can do.
Hmm.
The game is over. But if you get into his mind that he can't shoot threes and he just stuck doing turnarounds and low post mid range game, that's exactly what you want.
Hmm.
And we're giving defenses exactly what they want. Non-threat from a home run. That's probably the number one thing about our offense. Don't worry about it. They're not looking to go deep. They just not. No deep crossers, no down the field. They're not looking for it. So we tell all our safeties to play like linebackers this week. We're not Air Force. Hell, Air Force figured it out. But we don't have that type of run game. Whereas gap discipline and all that. We are based our run game off of straight will. We have more will than you. We're not running nothing complicated offensively. And it's interesting because I remember Marcus Freeman came in and said, Jared Parker is doing the things that we lacked from the year before. That was the whole point. And he's
Hmm.
running this offense to unlock the things that we had untapped as potential, which was obvious the pass game. That's what Jared Parker was coming. Remember, he said, yeah, we're going to do this, and we got this coming. We're going to do this better. I got a list of all the things we need to do that we didn't do last year. And we're doing the same things as last year. So I don't know if this is something that He ran out of ideas from, because he's getting ideas from everybody in the building. Miss Joy, the handyman, the cafeteria lady, administration dropping some notes in there. Swarbrick done gave him a couple plays, right? But now you look at it and it just doesn't make sense. It's like you're looking at something where you're like, why is this not making sense? And we talked a little bit about dysfunction and how it can trickle down into even on the field. Dysfunction from high on up can trickle down and be dysfunction on the field. And some of that is to play. I think Gerad Parker, in a lot of cases, in a lot of different places, people would say he's in over his head.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fair thing to say. I don't think he went into that offseason thinking he was the number one choice to be in that conversation. I think he was thinking more, okay, my name's in the list. Maybe I get something after they hear I'm in the conversation. He didn't think he was gonna get it. I could bet money he didn't think he was gonna get it. But to be able to be in that spot now, it's only showing that I see why Marcus Freeman was flying all over the country. I see. And Marcus Freeman probably know. And that's why I was taking all them trips.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew from last year when Gerad Parker was here and sitting in on those meetings, him and Tommy concocting a bunch of nothing. Concocting a bunch. You don't think Marcus Freeman knew who Gerad Parker was in the beginning? Of course he knew who he was. He was there on the game plan. He was the tight ends coach. So you are heavily, especially last year, it's direct communication with the tight end and offense coordinator. It's direct communication. You got Michael Mayer. So, yeah, I don't know what Marcus Freeman expected because you're seeing a less pass from the outside and somehow more focused on that tight end spot.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, we fooled y'all that we think we stay in on that inside. And it started Ohio State game. It seems like it was like, okay, what am I comfortable in calling? And that's stuff for the tight end. And that's what we did. So when you say, yeah, we missed open dudes down the field, yeah, of course, because we wasn't looking for them. We're sending down, it's like shooting out them flares. Shoot out a flare. It's a distraction. Chris Tyree's getting cardio, running sprints down the field just so we can distract, so we can find a tight end underneath one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
So, do I blame Sam? Kinda. But I know from a system perspective, they looking for that tight end or that matchup. But we had matchups all season that we was hoping you would go to, and I think it's been a confidence thing for Sam. Also, I mean, he's not used to ever being out of all the games he's played, he's never had a gauntlet like that. 5 back-to-back primetime games? Sam probably played a primetime game once a year, maybe. He probably played after 12 o'clock, maybe twice a year. All them games was at noon. He was at home watching Notre Dame by the time his game was over because we was playing late night. So his confidence 100%, in my opinion, wavered just because of the moments that he had to step in and be that dude. He thought Duke was going to be the last. No, Duke ain't the last. Duke was the start.
Mm-hmm.
That 4th and 16, you thought, yeah, that was great, but you got to repeat success. It don't get no easier. So it goes back to you need a dude for that position because of the gauntlet. Now, after this season, hey, shit, I would take a Sam again. I mean, look at the schedule. But I would also if I had a Sam, I would be training a young gunslinger to get ready for that second season. So I always got one in the pocket. But that's being real with knowing who you have. If I got Sam Hartman He's a regular season quarterback. He'll win you the easy games in the regular season. But I'm training Kenny Minchie the whole time. Because when we get in the playoffs and Sam starts to waver, I should depend on Kenny to go in there and get us that win. Because we're talking about a guy that we think it could be a potential dude as opposed to a guy that can get us to where we want to go.
Well, I'm going to take Malik out of serious mode, make him happy again, because he's analyzed this, and this is Malik Zaire's film analysis of one Deuce Knight right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. And Deuce dropped his mixtape left.
That's right. I was watching. I watched it a couple times.
He dropped his mixtape. What do you see from Deuce?
The one thing I like about Deuce Knight is that you instantly see a raw athleticism added to the position. Is he the most polished dude in the world? No. But what I love is that he can do stuff like this. And this is the stuff that, when in doubt, Sam has had opportunities. He's just not athletic enough to make the defense pay. We got a guy in Deuce Knight that all that trust stuff and being a great practice player sounds really good. But none of them guys got what this kid has when everything breaks down. And that's just a natural ability to find green grass. Whether that's moving in the pocket to find the pass or seeing a lane for the run that he's going to take. That raw dynamic ability and being electric in doing it is really what college football is about. Because at the end of the day, none of these quarterbacks are consistent enough to operate out of the pocket 80, 90% of the time. You're going to need to have some backyard skill to you to make up for some of these tough downs where the defense may have you. It ain't that many great college coaches out there. So you're going to have to make more of what you're given in certain opportunities. And then for us, I think we're needing that in the offense that we have at Notre Dame, where the play may be getting us only 6, but we need 10 for a first down. That 4-yard difference is made up through having it factor players and dynamic players, and Deuce can do that. 4th and 1 against Ohio State, Deuce ain't running out of bounds. He ain't running out of bounds. He's getting the first. And what is so important is that, yeah, the arm talent is there. All I need to see is you being able to push the ball down the field. Can the ball get up and down? Up and down. Meaning, is it floating out in the air like a hot air balloon? Or are you getting it up and down like that play right there? Put it in the bucket. So I do love the fact that we have the athletic, dynamic ability to make up for when the play isn't perfect and the defense got you.
What did you say? Yeah, go ahead, because I know you had something when you talking about his drop.
Also, yeah, this is what he'll learn. Obviously, Gino Gaduli can work on day one, speeding up your drop. This is Division I football. Being on time is more important than anything, and that comes from your feet. Like, for instance, you don't catch punts with your hands, you catch punts with your feet, meaning you have to get under the football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Tyree trying to catch with his hands and not catching with his feet, let the ball come to him and hit him right in the face. Unacceptable. But going back to sense of urgency, that's the one thing that I hope Gino Gaduli notices, is that he just has to speed everything up. Now, it does help that you're 6'5" and all of that, but when you have a sense of urgency in your drop, you'll play way more consistent, you'll be on way more timing, and your anticipation is there. When you can beat the receiver's route with your feet, with your drop, That's anticipation because you're ready to throw before they're there. When you're anytime you slowly drop like that as a quarterback, that tells me you reading the play as you're going. Can't do that. You have to have a sense of urgency to get back there and then have a plan of action. You trying to come up with a plan of action as you drop, you're automatically late. This is why getting comfortable with the offense matters so much, because when you know what you're doing, you're fast as hell. Because you know what's coming. When you don't know what you're doing, you slow and you hesitate and you hold on to the football. But when you know what you're doing and you're comfortable in the offense and you're taking the rep hundreds of times, you're fast to it because you know what's coming and you know you have to hit a certain spot, be on time, right when it needs to be. But that takes reps, and that's something that Deuce himself has to be conscious of, only because you can't play slow and then play fast and think you're going to be a consistent passer. That's all I'm saying. When you get back in this slow, methodical drop back stuff, your passing mechanics don't always serve you well because you're going slow, fast, slow. When you stay at a nice pace and you're quick and you're decisive, the ball comes out way more accurately and you're able to put it in positions where you really want it. Now in high school, he can get away with a lot more because he's dynamically athletic and he's electrifying. But in college, if he wants to be an All-American freshman, sense of urgency is what I would say. But other than that, he's got all the other intangibles. He's got a bigger arm than anybody we got on the roster, probably. I like Kenny's arm. I even like CJ's arm. I think CJ's more of a, like, my honest opinion of CJ is that I don't know how much better he can get. Like, I think he's one of those kids that's just, he is what he is. I don't see him jumping leaps and bounds forward athletically or arm talent wise or anything like that. I think surround him with enough pieces, he'll look pretty good. Deuce is a guy that I think can make leaps and bounds as the years goes on, because who knows how athletic he can really be, right? CJ's like, he ain't getting faster for real. I mean, you get more in shape, probably get a little bit bigger. But we like what you serve us. You give us good accuracy. You may not have a cannon, but if you have a fast dude, you can make him look good, that kind of thing. Kenny's more of what I like is because he can give you everything that you want and make it look a lot easier. You know how some guys can just make things look easy?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that pass is, man, you make me feel like I can throw the ball. Right? You know how some of them quarterbacks, they throw so good. You be like, man, you make me feel like I go out there and, like, Pat Mahomes makes people feel like that. I watch Pat Mahomes, I'm like, are they even trying against Pat? Or because he's just out there just making it look easy. So
yeah,
I think Kenny's one of those guys that can make it look easy because he's so talented with his arm. Not talented in super arm strength, but talented on layering the football, knowing how to give different passes to help receivers, this, that, and the third. Deuce, I think, can develop a skill like that over time, but his electrifying ability where we may call a couple pass plays, but he takes off is just as good. You happy with whatever he can make out of the play. CJ is more of a guy where you're like, all right, you're going to read that 1, 2, 3 and be consistent on it. Kenny's like, man, that was just a freaking dime. That's a good pass play. Very, very, very accurate and on time of what we need. Deuce is that home run hitter. We may call it slants and he just run around, scramble and find a dude deep and we ESPN, maybe not on time from the footwork but you can't tackle him. He's tall, he's big, he's gonna run away from you. Hard to bring down, but can extend plays, make it off schedule, whatever, run. So that's more to work with, in my opinion, as a coach. But the other two, I think if we do it right and we have confidence in what we're doing and not jerking around with all these transfers and looking for a fourth so bad, I think we can do it the right way where they can all get in and grow all along with each other.
Lucky Lefty podcast. That goes back to the poll question where Notre Dame fans spoke up at 56%, believing that Notre Dame should go to the portal to get a depth quarterback. Because you can't have you need 4 quarterbacks for a college football program. You just do. They have 5 arms in the spring. At minimum, you need 4. Right? Because you got your top 2 guys working with the 1s and 2s. Your 3 is the scout team. And heck, if somebody gets injured, you need that 4th guy to be able to step in and at least run the scout team. So
that's what the number 16 dude is. I keep forgetting the brother
yeah,
name.
yeah.
What's his name?
Keep talking. I'll get his name.
Yeah, so I think that, let him serve. If he a preferred walk on, you should be serving that scout team, mighty, mighty heavily, which goes back to just the confidence and what you have in that room. We went into the season with 3 people, 2012. No, 2013. 3 people, me, Tommy, and Hendrix. That was it. And
Dylan
we,
Devazine
oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
from New Orleans.
He should be
Yeah,
serving that scout. Or
well, like I said, they had 5 arms in the spring. Tyler left. They ended up with 4. Kenny is the scout team guy right now. And you know, if somebody transfers, if Angeli transfers, then yo, you only have 3 arms in the building. So
yeah, I mean, look, I guess the quota is to get 4, but hell, we block pretty well. We just
yo,
have a guy
somebody
over.
said, ask the question as we get ready to get out of here. Who was the wide receiver coach during your time in Notre Dame?
Denbrock. Yeah, it was Denbrock. The whole time. He was wide receiver. But, Denbrock is a coordinator. So
Mm-hmm.
he was running his individual drills based on the offense. He was running these routes based on these plays. So he wasn't necessarily developing Will Fuller. It was more like Will's fast. I know how to call plays. And hell, if they put a slow corner on him, we call that go route. He don't need a bunch of cone drills, But also at that time, the receiver room was self motivated. They were some true go getters. Not saying that the ones we have aren't, because I'm not around them. I don't know. But in that room when I was there, it was like, man, they was pushing each other. I mean, we had Torrey Hunter Jr. not getting no time like he should, and he was good.
Bro, you guys had, you talk about speed. You guys had Stephenson,
Oh,
Will, Stephenson,
Boykin,
Will,
Miles Boykin,
and
Chase
Brees.
Claypool, Breezy, Amir. The only one that wasn't fast was Corey Robinson, but we only used him in areas. And he was just Stretch Armstrong on corners. I mean, it was just amazing to watch. But I'm like, your dad's David Robinson. Like, even if you don't, come across as an athlete, you're an athlete, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You're David Robinson's son.
Man,
And he showed every bit of it any chance he got. But he was never like man, what an interesting receiver that was, Corey Robinson, man. He
yeah,
wasn't fast for real, but, man, you throw that thing in his area and he coming down with it.
the radius was crazy. Lucky Lefty podcast. Look, Brady Quinn has a show on Fox Sports Radio with LaVar Arrington, and LaVar Arrington thought it was time and thought James Franklin needed protection. And oh boy, he started capping from the beginning. Left. Oh man, let me reboot this, man. Because I got to make sure I get this. This has to.
James Franklin must be married to the AD's daughter, man, because he got it good in there. Because, I mean, what's it going to take for them to let him go?
Man.
I mean, they don't even talk about him being on no hot seat, and they be losing game after game after game.
No hot seat at all.
But they don't. But he's not Urban. He what he's a 10-year guy there now, and ain't got nothing to show for it. They don't even have a conference championship. Penn State don't even have a conference championship, and he's had to have been there for 10 years.
Yeah. They won the Big Ten conference championship with
it wasn't no Christian Hackenberg.
No, the little quarterback. You know, the number 9.
Trace McSorley?
Yeah.
When that was Saquon's year. So 1 year they won the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
That's when they played USC with Sam Darnold and all them.
Yeah.
And Saquon went crazy
There's been this kind of way of creating a narrative where we have to be just like Michigan or we have to be just like Ohio State. And we're Penn State. So you can't sit there and say, "Oh, you didn't beat Ohio State." No, that's for Michigan. Michigan created that narrative. You have to be the coach that can beat Ohio State at Michigan. Oh, you can't beat Michigan. You got John Cooper done it. Well, that's Ohio State for Michigan. The problem I have is that we have a coach that, keep in mind, and we're a decade removed from it, but people soon forget that our program was on the blink. And when I say it was on the blink, how we talked about, flat tire and this, that, and the other earlier on in the show.
You're on blocks.
Our car didn't even have tires. Thank you. Our car didn't even have tires. Then this man came in and rejuvenated. Like, be clear, in a great time, it's hard to recruit players to go to Penn State. In a great time. Let alone a dark time where something super bad happens where it stains and hurts the reputation of the university.
Man.
So the problem I have is this man is, okay, so he doesn't have a great record against top 5 teams. He doesn't have a great record against Michigan and Ohio State. But the problem I run into is, one, we judge our coach, and we haven't had many, but we had 2 coaches post Joe, and we judge them based off of what we do against Ohio State and Michigan.
Think
about Joe didn't beat Michigan or Ohio State either. I didn't get a win against Michigan, not one. We didn't beat Michigan. So don't stop comparing him to Joe. That's the first thing. Then the second thing I kind of run into and I kind of like get kind of.
I had a pause it right there, dog.
What is this?
Man, what are you talking? Joe Paterno beat one of the most historically dominant teams for a national championship. He beat Vinny Testaverde and the Miami Hurricanes, dude. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Man,
bothered by is you can look at the resources that go into Michigan and Ohio State football and compare them. Just pull the finances and compare how the resources that go into Ohio State football and the resources that go into Michigan football to Penn State. You got all these people bitching and moaning and groaning and flapping their gums about what James can't do and what James didn't get done and how he needs to go and this, that, and the other. What do you think the next coach is going to do? Because he's going to run into the same issues. So put your money where your flapping gums are. It's an NIL. Stop making excuses. NIL period of time. Donate money. Do what you need to do so that you can help the team and the facilities and what's going on resource-wise so that we can get Marvin Harrison Jr. So we can get the type of guys that you're looking for. And we can have, by the way, the coaching staffs that these guys are looking for. You go look at Alabama and the resources they have. Look at their coaching staff. They have like 2-3 coaches for every position. Like literally, you're outside linebacker. You got the main coach that's coaching the outside linebackers, and you got like two what are they called? Quality control dudes, which by the way,
Or analysts.
analysts,
Yeah.
which by the way, they're probably more knowledgeable than the guy that's coaching. Because it's generally a LAVAR Arrington or a Brady Quinn that are those guys, analysts that are working to learn it to become coaches themselves. So that's my only problem is that man lost 2 games last year and y'all want to fire him. Like, you sound like a freaking moron. He lost 2 games. And by the way, his 2 losses so far this year, both teams were ranked number 3 at the time.
I've never heard somebody cop so many pleas and say so many things that you have to scratch your head and be like, well, that's why he's there, right? I mean, I'm sure you don't go into the Big Ten and say we are not thinking about Michigan and Ohio State and beating them because that's their battle. Well, what do you?
Your mantra for the program is "We are Penn State," except when we play Ohio State and Michigan.
Except when we play the teams that are better than us.
We are Penn State, except when we play Ohio State and Michigan. Like,
because
we should have no expectations to beat Ohio State and Michigan. Even though Joe Pa would beat the Miami Hurricanes, even though Joe Pa would walk in the South Bend and beat Rocket Ismail, Lou Holtz, and the Fighting Irish. James Franklin? No. We can't expect him. It's the alumni's fault. You don't give enough money. The facilities are bad.
He said it's hard to recruit good players to Penn State during a great time. Oh, really? Saquon Barkley was pretty great. Michael Parsons, pretty great. Hell, they got some pretty great O linemen and D linemen right now.
They have some great defensive players right now.
Great running backs.
Great running backs right now. They
And
have a top five offensive tackle right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think he just basically was like, let this man be average. Because what can you find better than that?
Forget he's a bad in-game coach.
Yeah, in-game coach is terrible. In-game, yeah, I'm glad you said in-game because that's what it's about.
This dude, he lost 2 games last year, and people want to fire him.
Yeah.
He lost to the same teams they keep losing to. And if you are cool with being in 3rd place in the Big Ten,
always,
then fine.
And it's funny because Ryan Day is getting flack and being asked to get fired for losing twice to the same team. Twice. James Franklin couldn't handle that heat at Ohio State. James Franklin would be like, what do you mean? It's okay if we lose to Michigan every year. It's okay. That's somebody else's problem. So I think that takes the wind out of anything from a momentum standpoint of what if I was a player on that team, I would have been like, man, I need to transfer. Because what's the point? If you telling me right now it's all right to lose to these teams every year and not even expect to be in the same arena, you just show up for Saturday. That's not good enough. You don't get no credit for that. And that's why you can go 10-2 and still be fired. Because they're like, bro, you know the games on the schedule that's going to be the challenges that we're going to be watching. We're not watching you versus Minnesota and Purdue and these milquetoast teams. We're not watching Rutgers. We watch them 2 games out the year. And they always hype them up like they're going to be some competitive thing, and they never are. Never close. And hell, don't let Wisconsin get better because then y'all be behind them. Wisconsin had to fall off for y'all to be number 3. Y'all really was number 4 or 5. So y'all got 3 by default because Wisconsin bowed out. But before that, y'all was a 4th or 5th place team in the division. I mean, in the conference. And hell, don't you throw USC and UCLA in there, you probably gonna be worse than that. I mean, so James Franklin is
Right.
not
That
good enough.
West division is going to be totally different next year, buddy.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be way different.
USC, UCLA, Washington. Oh yeah.
Washington's Big Ten too.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Yeah.
Oregon.
James ain't gonna make it, man. Because it's cool when you only got 2 teams you getting busted by.
Mm-hmm.
Now
James Franklin is the dude. James Franklin is the dude that gets to the party early because he knows once the athletes start getting there,
it's over with.
It's a wrap.
You better go grab what you can early.
Yeah, you better get there like 8:30, 9 o'clock, dog.
Having the drinks ready for them. Have one in your hand, one in the other hand.
Get as many numbers as you can, bro.
Because it will. Okay.
Because once the athletes walk in with the varsity jackets.
Yep. Once the athletes walk in, them lights get lower, it's over for you.
Man.
You go in where the lights is on, you just chatting it up, you got space to walk and talk and get to know people. But once it hit about that 10 o'clock, it's getting thick in that thing. And then players roll up. Yeah, man, it's time for you to roll out. It is over.
Them players they like, we ain't doing a bunch of sweating. Slow this down. Play some slow jams.
That's right. Oh yeah, you can't dance?
Nah, we ain't doing all this sweating. We ain't come here to do that.
Oh. What'd you say?
Dim the lights.
Turn all that fast music down, man. Let's get something really going in this thing.
Dim the lights.
Yeah, it's and that's
play some Juvie slow motion or something.
That's right. And it's funny because that's when James Franklin is like, well, we're not expected to do anything in here because I can't compete with that. That's what Penn State's saying.
Man.
When it get to the good stuff, when it get to the end of the night, James Franklin said, I'm going home, brother. I done had my fun. But yeah, I ain't never heard somebody cop. I hope somebody cop pleas like that for Marcus Freeman.
And then Brady next to him, like, like Brady, man, stop.
Man,
stop.
Brady, man, he been
first of all, this is the most. Remember when this was the most talented team he's seen at Notre Dame in a while? Remember that? That? Brady's had a tough year, man.
Got a tough year.
Yeah, his takes.
His takes have been very noticeable.
Like, I don't know about this one, Brady. Most talented team?
Talented team scoring 17 points and losing to Louisville. And we're the reason why Louisville's even ranked that high. I mean, seriously, we're the only reason why they're even considered anything. They lost
to Pitt, bro.
Oh my God! Don't say that too loud, man.
I'll say it again. They lost to Pitt, bro.
The team we put 58 on.
They lost to Pitt.
But could only put 17 on Louisville. We put 58 on the team y'all lost to. 58. We was probably watching the Louisville tape that week. Just embarrassing.
That's something that, Edgerrin James, who just launched his podcast, he had Warren Sapp on today. And they were talking about it. And they were talking about how soft with the new rules that's supposed to be keeping guys healthy and, lowering injuries. And they were like, man, look, football is football, bro. Like, cats don't play and walk in and immediately go into the transfer portal. Because, they both started talking about the name. Man, Edgerrin James started talking about the running backs that were in front of him when he got there as a freshman.
Yeah, he understood.
And I was like,
well, that was
Clinton. But he was like, yo, that was the culture. Like, dude, I wasn't going nowhere. He's like, the culture was compete.
Yeah.
That was the culture. Compete. And Warren Sapp was like, dude, he started naming the defenders he had. And he was like, dog, I had national champion cats like on defensive line. Like, I ain't going nowhere. Like, we competing. He's like, I was on the bench against Nebraska in the national championship game.
Yeah, like that.
You know, he's like, I didn't walk in the all season saying, Coach, I'm a transfer. You know what I'm saying? He said, you got coach. He said, man, I heard a cat walk in Nick Saban's office like, man, I'm gonna need $500,000. He said, Nick Saban, dude. How you tell Nick Saban? He said, dude, the rabbit has the gun now. Like these kids can just walk in and tell coaches, like, hey.
They started saying 5,000 for a visit.
Man, if I don't get a bag, man, I'm out of here.
Was it supply and demand?
Man, look here, bro. Man, let me tell you something, bro.
Good chance of playing the lottery.
Man.
Yes.
Hey, we gave you 2 shows today, man. That's what we do. Left. Good to see him back on the left coast. We'll catch you tomorrow. Left. I can't do 11 o'clock. I got some errands in the morning.
Yep.
But afternoon, we're good. We'll post it.
Yep.
And then we'll break down Wake Forest. Not much to break down, but hey, we'll give it a shot.
I've been giving them way too much credit too. Talking about they do some special things on the what? Marcus Freeman. This is Notre Dame. This ain't. You know, your local community college.
Oh man,
Some
you know what
special
time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, petty story of the day brought to you by ONORA Whiskey and Whiskey.com and MalikZaire.com, along with all of your traveling needs. MalikZaire.com. Punch the tickets of Mace and Cameron. All of you know that Joe Smith, former #1 overall pick, NBA player, you saw the viral video with him and his wife arguing over her fans only page. Well, Mace and Cameron have a podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and on the podcast, they interviewed Joe Smith's wife about a week ago, and Cam was flirting with Joe Smith's wife. So Mace decided to take it a step further this week, and Mace invited her to the show to give that cat Cameron a massage
during the show.
During the show. I've never seen that cat Cameron pause come out of his shirt as fast as he did. That cat Cameron was like, "Yo, how you doing? Oh, word? All right."
And then they asked her the questions, would he be okay with this if he saw this right now? She's giving the massage. So are you trying to get back together with him? Where y'all at him? What may say, will he be okay with you doing this right now? Knowing damn well he invited her and everything. But she been wilding too. She been doing other stuff that's crazy too, man. Listen, Joe, sometimes it's best to just leave it alone, bro. It's point of no return at this point. It's gotten too big.
Well, if you watch Joe's interview on Vlad, because he did an interview with Vlad, he said, "Yo, I haven't spoken to her since I left the crib that day."
Yeah. I mean, rightfully so, man. Because I don't know if you can at this point.
It seems like she out here like full-fledged, ready to like embarrass that brother right now.
Oh yeah, ready.
And Mace, Mace probably put 5 stacks in her pocket.
It wasn't nothing big for him, but it was
Mm-hmm.
big for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows that if it's big enough, I know Joe. I mean, you know, he knew what he was getting into before, I suppose. So it sucks that when you think you're at the end of the road, and then you realize it's only beginning. You thought you was finna ride off into the sunset, but you just getting off the exit ramp, dog.
Yo, this cat Cameron, bro.
I mean, laid on the table.
Bruh, that man came out of his shirt.
Oh,
Bruh.
man. Draymond putting dudes in chokehold. I've never seen that before. I'm surprised that's not a bigger story. You know, as much as they try to make the league so soft, he literally was dragging him away, putting him in a sleeper chokehold. That was pretty crazy.
Hey man, look. Yo, dude, it's Rudy Gobert, bro. It's Rudy Gobert, man.
It's Rudy Gobert would let something like that happen to him.
Hey, but let me tell you something. Draymond's been on one. I don't know if you caught the Cleveland Golden State game over the weekend. He got a tech for him and Donovan Mitchell got into it.
Yeah, he talking that crazy.
This man told Donovan Mitchell, I don't do all that talking. I'll fight you. I'll fight you right now. Dude, they like the teams are standing there waiting for the refs to look at the video. This dude was like, dude, because Donovan Mitchell's talking.
He chatted.
Draymond is like,
he didn't see what I did to Jordan. I know you. I would do it to you. See, that's because you know.
Draymond said, man, I don't do all that talking. I'll fight you right now. And that cat Donovan looked at his teammates like, yo, this dude is bugging. It's like, hey, man. That cat Draymond is a real one, bro.
I guess.
No. If you go to East Lansing and dude, that cat Draymond has like multiple stories of knocking cats out when he was
in college.
State. Yes. Yes.
It's crazy. Some dudes get away with it, some don't.
Hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Sweet dreams, man. Make sure you spend it different.